All right, so as usual, coming up here on the channel at 9 o'clock, Aldrin St. Pierre with African Perspective. So, Aldrin, you're speaking, of course, to Sarah Kimani.
Yes.
The African Union Summit kicking off this week. And, you know, one that we're watching very closely following, you know, the results, of course, of the Malawi elections being nullified. What does all of this mean for observer missions on the African continent?
I think with the Malawi question, there are a lot of aspects that leave many people with a lot of questions. For instance, the role that the observer missions play. We know that a lot of observer missions play a critical role in the elections, and we know, for instance, with the Kenyan elections as well. So the Malawi court judgment was the second judgment on the continent where the presidential elections have been set aside. So this is the second time that this has happened. But what does this tell us about the independence of the judiciary, number one? What does this tell us about the role that the observer missions play, but also the role that the political parties play? Because while the observer missions may argue and say that we cannot be in every other voting station or polling station, what the political parties can do is make sure that they have a party agent there. And it's because of those party agents that we have this particular court judgment that has been handed down. But the President Mutharika has indicated that he will be appealing this particular court judgment, and there have been protest action in Malawi, and some are saying that this protest action might just divide the country again. So we'll be speaking to Grant Masterson about the role of the observer missions within the elections. And then, of course, as we've indicated, it is the African Union Summit that is taking place this week, and South Africa is taking on as chairperson of the African Union. Very important, I think, and critical for President Cyril Ramaphosa, the role that he will play, as well as the speech that he'll be delivering. And, of course, we know the silencing of the guns in 2020. Who are we fooling? Who are we fooling when we speak about the silencing of the guns on the continent in 2020, when we are living in the year 2020, and we know what's happening in the Sahel region, as well as what's currently playing out in Libya?
All coming up at 9 o'clock on the show. African Perspective at 9 o'clock with host Aldrin St. Pierre.